Alright, let's have a look at what's going on here, Neems, with these snatches. Again, from Monday, these were looking way better than I've seen them before. Just got to make a couple of final touches still, okay? So, starting to look on the way down, power position looks pretty good. Okay, upright, as we're going down to that position, again, mid-thigh here is pretty good. I would like to see the knees being drawn back a little bit more here, okay? So this position's still pretty good, still getting over, and at this point we sort of stop, and then you end up kind of shifting back. Can you see that very slight movement? Okay, so I'd rather than that, I want you to keep pulling the knees back to get below the knee, because now we can see, if we look down, this is where I want that bar to be, behind your shoulder. The bar is now traveling already forward, okay? So it's getting away from you on that way down. So when you're coming down again, keep getting over the bar more by pulling your knees back. Don't allow yourself to do that little sink there if you're just watching your hips, okay? So we're coming here, coming down to the ground, good. Okay, so you're going to be working hard to pull that bar into the shins. Alright, so now we're talking about the other night in terms of this back angle, kind of staying the same. Okay, I like the setup. The hips are above the knees, shoulders above the hips. Alright, back is set. But watch as we're coming up. By the time we get to the top of that knee, the back angle is now changing, okay? So we can see that it's opened up a little bit. We want to try and keep your same position right to your here. We can now see a big change in that back angle, okay? From like there to there. I would still want you where that green line is as much as possible, okay? So we can see what's happening as we're coming up. It's the same thing I was telling you on the way down. You want to think about keeping that back angle the same, pushing through your quads, okay? And we want to watch these knees draw further back as we go, okay? So as you're coming up, you're starting to lift that chest up straight away, and the knees are sort of staying in the same position here. They haven't really moved too much. Alright, so the chest is lifting up, knees are still in the way, so you're going around your knees here, really going around those knees, alright, whereas we would like those knees, you pushing through the ground, drawing those knees back, so by the time you're here, that bar again will be behind the shoulders, not out in front, okay, so then there's not a lot going wrong, you know, like there's not 5 or 6 things going wrong here, it's just that first pull. So then you see more or less you're trying to compensate by, rather than keep on moving up with the torso, you're feeling like you have to do that big draw in again, okay? So if we look at where you are now for your power position, again, torso is really forward, so when we're going to jump, we're going to think about those hips. This bar gets heavier, swinging away, okay, like a kettlebell, because that forward torso lean. So we'd want you more upright. Again, this is only happening because that first pull, we need to stay over it for longer so the chest isn't lifting up, and then that way the bar is now not in front of your shoulders, but we would like it here, so that back angle would still be the same, okay? As you're coming up, so that way you don't have to pull that bar in, it'll already be here, you'll be more over. What I do like though is the bar stays nice and close to you, okay? It's much, much closer, alright? And you're starting to use your legs a little bit more, which is great, and you're jumping nicely with that bar, it's much closer. When you're catching it, trying to work on for that strength in your overhead position, giving me a little 2-second pause here, okay? So rather than catching, standing up, I want you to hold in that position, starting to work your upper back strength and punching under that bar, getting used to punching under those heavier loads, okay? So if we go through full speed for the next one, you should be able to see this is your power position, okay? So if we look at this position, shoulders are back, in line with the hips. Bar is being pulled into the hips, okay? And then if we look at where your power position was in the previous one, which is here, we need you getting back, okay, into that power position, all right? So just to make that clear of where I want you. That's your power position. That's where I want you to see you end up before you jump. So again, if we look down, same thing, pretty good job here. The bar staying behind your shoulders, right? Good, good, good. From this point, I need you to draw the knees back, because we can see that from about mid-thigh, we're just sliding that bar forward, and now it's away from your shoulders, okay? So again, it would want to be here, but we're getting that bar out in front of your shoulders, okay? So then as we go down, the position's the same as we're coming up. Again, we're going around that knee, okay? So what we want to see is as you push through the ground, the bar or the knees drawing back. Draw the knees back, draw the knees back, draw the knees back, stay over, stay over, stay over, and keep staying over to this point, okay? Knees back more here. So the bar is not in line with the shoulder, but we'd want it behind the shoulder ever so slightly, okay? And then that way when we come up, not as crammed on this one, which is good, and it stays even closer to the body, which is good, and you're under the bar more, which is great. Remember, just a little pause in this position, and then standing it up, okay? So main takeaway from all of that means is your first pull, again, like we were talking about the other night, good position in your setup. You just need to push through that floor and draw these knees back, okay? Draw the knees back, draw the knees back, draw the knees back, stay over, stay over, stay over, right? And then that's going to start taking care of some of this other stuff that we're seeing. Overall, mate, big improvements, okay? Hoping by the next 7 weeks of our lifting program, we're making that looking real good. Okay, good stuff. Thanks.